Hello everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. Tracy here, and I've got a bit of, oh hello, sorry, I had just moved something and didn't realise that my little tripod was sitting on it, and luckily you didn't fall on the floor. I'll tell you what though, I've got a bit of a headache today again. It's been extremely sunny, and I think that might be one of the reasons. And yeah, I started a new WIP today, a new Boggy Creek blanket, and I went and kind of pilfered the yarn from hobbyrocks.co.uk for another one, and it's one of my own patterns that I did a long time ago. So I've always wanted to make it. I made it in a way that I didn't like when I made it and I liked it, and then when I did it as an actual tutorial and made it as a blanket, I weren't really keen on it. I'd gone a bit too far, so I'm reverting back to the original, but obviously changing things tad, like changing the yarn because I don't have that yarn anymore. So yeah, I'm going to kind of have another go at that and maybe do that as a Boggy Creek as well. And packed my orders, and big box was heavy, so yeah, for a while I came in, why are my fingers aching? And it was because I was lugging lots of boxes about. But good thing is, I mean, some of, it freed up space, and I was able to sort stuff out and find homes for other bits, and generally kind of tidy up out there, which is good. And yeah, so it's been really, really hot today, and the Paralympics started today. So I watched a little bit of wheelchair, was it basketball? I think it was basketball. Wasn't really watching, I was crocheting at the same time, but it was on. And we were doing quite well, actually, in the UK team. Team GB UK, whatever it's called, I don't know. I lose track of what we're meant to be. Yeah. Just saying. How are you guys? How are you doing? So I got asked by quite a few people. I'm really struggling to get my worms out, aren't I, today? I know I said worms. It was intentional, on purpose, intentional, not intentional. Vocabulary not being my strongest suit today. I don't know why. Probably getting my worms in a fuddle. Anyway, I've been asked by quite a few people to put up some pictures of Michael and Eleonora. So I did one. I put it up. It's the one where they did the signing. I thought, So I've done that. So on my community tab, should you wish to see it, I know a few of you haven't commented already, but yeah, put it up. My other son, Paul, is on holiday. So I've been getting lots of nice pictures of the tranquility that I'm extremely jealous of. Also, this popped up as a memory. And this was my little Posh Paws cat, Norris. And she was a character. She got very, very old and arthritic. And those little paws that used to sit so nicely together ended up being a bit 2:45. But she was a funny cat. She had the most scraggy meow. She used to go, meow. It sounded really scary. Meow. She had a very craggy meow. What was I looking for? Can't actually remember now. Oh, actually, they don't just save anymore. I got, when you have WhatsApp and pictures used to save all the time. And I found that I was getting so many pictures, which wasn't in itself too bad. But then one of Gary's sons, and his friends started sending a load of kind of filthy pictures as jokes. And because it was on WhatsApp and it tagged me in that group, I ended up with all this kind of pornography on my phone. I was like, what on earth is this? And I was just like, when I looked, that's obviously where it come from. And they were just trying to shock each other with the next picture. And They were all saving on my phone, so I figured I better stop saving. I did make a comment on that little group saying possibly not a good idea to automatically save pictures to my photo album. And then they were like, oh dear. So that made them, that was like a red rag to a bull. So let's fill up her gallery with filth. So that they just started even more then. So I had loads of deleting to do. Anyway, this is Paul and Harley. Harley's wearing his glasses. He broke them, so he's finally got them back. And yeah, there he is. Look at that little smile. Little cherub. Little cheruby smile. And his daddy, of course. And so that was one. And then I said that they went swimming. So that's Victoria there taking the picture with Paul and Harley in the background coming back from swimming. So yeah, I kind of, when they sent me those pictures, I suddenly thought, you know, it reminded me of when my kids were little and we did those holiday camp sort of holidays. Obviously you don't do them as you get older. So I've got itchy thumbs. I have no idea what's going on here today. But something is irritating my hands, as you know. And it's starting to itch. Although it's only still my thumb that is peeling and this one here. But I wake up in the morning and I have really itchy hands. I don't understand it. Don't know what's going on. Cheers, biscuit tea. I had my jam and toast tea. What had happened was my jam and toast tea had gone out of date. And I didn't want to throw it away because I had so much of it. And I also didn't know if it was okay to use. So I Googled it. And it said it is okay to use it when it's out of date. And they recommend for a year. But even if it's older than a year, it is safe to drink. It just may not taste the same. You know, maybe the taste will start to diminish. Well, where it's been in that tub, it's really as pungent as ever. So I tried it and it tastes just the same as it ever did. So as it doesn't go off, that's fine. It's just that, so maybe the tea bags might change colour as they're older, or the flavour might not be as strong. So I figured, well, I'm going to drink them then. They're fine. I'm going to drink them. They've not some of them. I've got boxes that I've not even opened and they're fine. So I'm going to drink them. Don't have to buy that anymore. I've got enough to last me a while. So yeah, because the reason being, I had all these boxes of biscuit tea and jam and toast tea, and I started just to drink the biscuit tea and left it. But yeah, I'll go back to it. I'll go back to drinking that as well. Now I know they're fine. So to yesterday's video that I recorded that went up today was for my yarn, the restocking of my paint box and the new glitz, this one that everybody had been clambering for. And I'm glad I bought a few packs because straight away somebody bought I won't say who because that's you know, privileged information, isn't it? But I still have mine, and I ordered some extra for me, but I can't use it to do the boggy blankets because it's got a glitz to it. So I'll leave that just for, there is something that I wanted to do with it a long time ago, and I still have a hankering to do it, but I might do it in a different way. There was 2 projects that I fancied doing, one with it and one just to do it. So it might be that yarn that I do it with. Cheers, my dears. I'm rambling, I make no sense. It's because I don't want to give it away what it is I'm going to make. Okay. What is today's picture? We have a Grogu and a Mando. Look at that. What is that? Is that just... I'm not really sure. I think it's part of the Mandalorian. There's Grogu again though, isn't it? Maybe it's his reflection. I don't know. But we've got a double Grogu day and it isn't even Friday. Is it? Friday. Of course it is. This week has just flown by. It's because it was bank holiday. Bank holiday is always like that, isn't it? Because it's not really part of the it is part of the week, but it's kind of not, because it's a holiday. So it is Friday, double Grogu day. Don't be surprised, Tracy. So I left my glasses in the other room, and I've got these, so I'll be wearing, I'll just see, I need so I can see it. Where are we up to? Thanks, but I already ate is a fun thing to say when someone who is trying to hand you a baby. My mum used to say that only boring people are bored, or something like that. Anyway, I usually stop listening after the third word. My mum had many sayings. That was not one of them. Oh, anyway, we had quite a lot of drama around here last night. I won't go into any details, but it was quite an odd evening that we had in the homestead. Not to do with us, but outside. And yeah, I won't mention it in case that person watches, because I know some people around here do. Well, they did. They probably don't anymore. They probably think she's boring. I just want to point out that only boring people will get bored. Just saying. It's in black and white and everything. Anyway, that was nice. So my niece is still here, Sarah, and her little boy Eddie, who played with Tyler. So Mike and Eleonora and Tyler are going off to meet them at the arcades today in Laysdown, so, and going to the beach. So that'd be nice. It'd be nice for Mike and Eleonora because, you know, meet up with some family and stuff. And funny enough, Sarah met Eleonora before I did, because they came down and we were all meant to meet up with her when they came last. But that was when we had that little siege going on, and they'd blocked up all our roads, and I couldn't get out. And it was a bit of a lukewarm siege at best. You know, there wasn't any. It was a storm in a teacup is what it was. And all that sort of being cordoned off for absolutely no reason. It's always the way, isn't it? It's always blown out of all proportion. Never mind. At least, you know, we were all safe, I suppose, you know, just in case. You know what happened today? Of course you don't. I haven't told you yet. But I was, what was I doing? I was doing some food. I was doing something in the kitchen. And as I looked around, there was this really tiny spider crawling up my left boob. And I looked down and I thought, washing up, that's what I was doing. And I thought, oh my God, you know, I'd gone outside to cut my fingernails. They were starting to like flake a little bit, and I had some wet catching on yarn. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to cut these off, and then by the time I go to Vegas, they'll have grown back. And so I did it and I like to do it outside, so if they ping, they don't ping on the floor or anything. So I was out there. It must have attached itself to me as I walked along, like a little tiny web or something. Thankfully, it was the size of an ant. And it wasn't, you know, there was a time that I was in the kitchen, the kids were little, and I was peeling potatoes. And the kids were playing up the dining room table. We had a big kitchen diner. And as I looked down, there was this gigantic, and I mean gigantic spider crawling up my arm. And the first thing I did was take off my t-shirt and throw it across the other side of the room. And I thought, you know, you took it off, so you've just put it maybe on your head in a way. But, you know, I don't know where it went. And then I suddenly realised I'm standing in the kitchen in my bra. We don't have any curtains. And we have patio doors as well. And I've got to now get up the stairs to get another t-shirt. Plus I'd lost the spider, which, you know, that was, well, it really was, my chest was going like this, you know, like clappers. Because I'm really, it's not just, I don't like them. I have a phobia. It's a real one. I get all sweaty and, you know, heart starts to race and I go like weak at the knees. It's a real thing. It's terrible. I wish I didn't have it. I remember watching TV. I would love to actually cure it. And they had this thing that there's this couple, this odd looking, bizarre looking couple on the TV in the UK. Their name is the Speakmans. And they reckon they can cure people's phobias, and you know, people go to them and you say, oh, I don't like flying and I really want to go to wherever, and then they cure them of this fear. And they were on TV one day and they supposedly cured this woman of her fear of spiders. So I was watching it thinking, come on, I'm going to do this with you. And it kind of centered around trying to remember the first time that you were scared of one. Well, I can't remember that. I've always been scared of them. So, you know, it was obviously as a child. And the only thing I can think of is the fact that when we were very small, we had this little holiday home, and it was more like a cabin. And it had an outside toilet back then. And in those days, some people still had outside toilets in their houses. I mean, I am that old, you know, 22. So anyway, yeah, we had an outside loo. And of course, you had to put the light on in the house, well, in the little cabin for the toilet. So you put the light on before you go out there. Well, what does light do? It attracts every creepy crawly that, you know, in the world. So you'd open the toilet door and there would be about 50 moths, 25 dragonflies. I mean, I know they're crane flies, and spiders and everything else in there. Every single thing you can imagine that crawled or flew was in there. And you're supposed to go to the toilet in peace. You know, my mum used to have to take me, and she'd be going, come on, I don't want to go. Anyway, I can imagine that's where the fear of it all came from. It was like a torture chamber of bugs. But obviously I can't remember the first time I was ever scared of a spider. But I watched this thing and I thought, you know what? I feel like I could be in the same room as a spider. And I really did. Now, we had one in the garage at the time. We had a garage then. And there was a big one that lived in the corner, and it lived in a kind of a bucket. It was one of those clear buckets that I would fill with yarn now, you know, they're one of those. And it was in there. Every time I went in there, I saw it, and I didn't kill it. I coexisted with this spider. But it wasn't in the house, you know. I only had to go in there for the freezer, because it was more like a utility room. And the tumble dryer was out there in the freezer. So I only had to go there and had to sort of go in the vicinity of the spider. It lived in the corner. And I didn't kill it. And I did feel like that watching that thing with the Speakmans really did make me... I thought, like, if I see a spider now, I wouldn't freak out. But as time went by, it just came back. It didn't last, you know. Don't think it worked, really. It wasn't in the house, was it? So, yeah. I don't know. Tea's getting cold. My tea gets cold quite often now. I'm always doing something. I've got to plug in. Try not to... There we go. Are you in? Yes. This gimbal that I am using, it doesn't hold a charge like the old ones used to. But the old ones don't hold a charge like they used to either. But then that's because they're old, you know. But this one is, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to last as well as the others. But it doesn't matter because I don't take it out. But if it was the sort of, because this is a Mobile 6, a DJI Mobile 6. And the beauty of this is I could take it out and get it to follow, say if my son was still playing football, I could get it to follow his action. And all I have to do is hold it and it would do it all for me. And I can get it to do time lapse. I can get it to speed up. There's nothing I can't get this thing. Well, I can't get it to make tea, but, you know, what good is it then? But, you know, sorry, my cup looks disgusting and I should have brought the dark one in. Anyway, it wouldn't last long. That's the only thing. I'm going to take it to Vegas with me in my case. Because I will make videos while I'm there. I will do some. Maybe like a daily roundup or something like that if I if I can. And while I'm out and about, I might film a few things. I'll probably film a lot of things, truth be told. And if I get any yarn, well, you know what I'm going to do then, don't you? I'm going to film yarn. And if I end up lucky enough to get to yarn shops, I'm going to film inside. I'm thinking I'm a crazy English woman coming over here filming in our shops. What's going on? But never mind. You know, I've said never mind a lot today, haven't I? Never mind. Well, I think I'm going to have to go and get some headache tablets because I've let it try and go on its own. And it's not playing. Fluffy's out on the decking, sprawled out. Absolutely sprawled. I took her some water out and she looked at me, her head kind of came up like this and she went, meow. And I went, some water, Fluffy, here. And she was like, meow. And I said, well, you have to get up. You can come and get it. And she's like, you know, it's like, oh, I can't be bothered. I'm just going to sit here and dehydrate. But it is really lovely and hot. It's beautiful out there. I haven't really seen much of it, only when I went to the yarn van. And when I cut my fingernails, of course. But, yeah, my day has been hoovering, packing, sorting, and a bit of crocheting. At least I did some crochet. Haven't done any more knitting. I'm not sure if I want to undo it or not. I'm still in that, you know, will it work out? Does it need frogging? Will I be able to frog that yarn? Because it is furry and a bit on the fluffy side. Didn't sleep very well last night. I was wide awake. I watched the soaps and because I've got back into Coronation Street. I wasn't going to, but something happened and I saw a little hook of a storyline and I thought, looks interesting. So I started recording it again and I've kept up, not got behind. It's all going to go, I was going to say tits up. I never understand that saying because, you know, obviously tits up got to be a good thing. It's if they're down, it's not, surely. But anyway, it's all, you know, it will all go a bit wrong while I'm away because I won't be able to watch any of them and I'll have a massive lot to catch up with. Unless we get a power cut or something and they don't record, or then I just out them. But, you know, so yeah, watch them anyway, beside the point, isn't it? And by the time I thought, you know, maybe I should start thinking about going to bed, it was really late. And I thought, you know, I'm just not tired. I tried to go to bed and Gary was snoring and I didn't want to wake him up because he wasn't long before he had to get up for work. And I thought I didn't want to wake him up too early. He always says, oh, no, don't worry, I'll get back to sleep. And then there's been a few occasions where he didn't get back to sleep and I feel really guilty. I'm not going to drink the rest of that tea. It's too cold now. Anyway, so I had a look on the computer and there was a Boggy Creek live stream going on. Nancy from She's Got Yarn hosted it. And the Charmed Grammy was there and Juan was there and a couple of other channels that I can't remember the name of at this moment. They were showing the blankets and everything else, and yeah, I couldn't stay to the end because I think it was probably 2:30 when I went to bed. But I was, at that time I was about ready for it. And no, maybe it wasn't that late actually. I can't remember what time it was. I know Mishy hadn't started hers, otherwise I might have popped in and say hello. But it was a bit late. So yeah. Anyway, I've made my room a little bit darker. And it was only by accident really, because I've got blinds, but it's very, very, it's a lot of light through. They are Venetians. They're quite wide slats of white. And they need a blackout behind them, because behind them is a sunlight roof, it's like skylight, and a big wide window which lets all the sun in. So because there's another room behind. So really it does need a blackout. But the other day I thought I don't know what dress to wear, so I just hung them all along it, and I thought, wow, it's dark in here. It's so good, I can sleep better. So I've been getting up a little bit later than normal because it's dark, which is that's why I used to sleep in, I'm sure, because it was really dark. In my old house, I used to have blackouts because obviously when I worked for the ambulance service, I did night shifts and day shifts. So I had to have really dark room to be able to sleep. So I'm sure that's why I used to sleep in so late and then stay up late. But perhaps that's why my biological clock, not biological clock, is it? That's the other thing. My, you know, my internal chronometer clock, chronograph, I don't know. My sleep pattern anyway. It used to be wonky, but it's probably because it was so dark, so I just slept in. Maybe it's not that I don't need so much sleep now. Perhaps I just can't get it because it's too bright. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to get off and upload this video and give in and take some headache tablets because it's not going to go on its own. I've given it plenty of time, drank water and all the stuff, and it's not really worked. So I'm going to go and get some get some tablets and start thinking about dinner for Gary. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye for now.